Hey guys, TechMentor with the video for you guys. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing iOS 15 on the iPhone 6s. That's right, on the iPhone 6s. This phone has been around for a really long time, and in the beginning parts of the year, we really thought that iOS 15 was not going to be supported on the iPhone 6s, so it was kind of a last minute cut when Apple announced that the iPhone 6S was going to be supported with iOS 14, which again is a great news for a lot of you that still has this phone, because a major software update means longer support on apps, and the most of the popular apps, and even apps that aren't as popular. And that's probably the biggest game changer for this phone. And this phone was released back in 2015, so 6 years ago, with iOS 9 first came out. So as you can imagine, because the phone has been around for such a long time, does it still hold up well? And running iOS 15, is it going to be really optimal and something you want to download and install? All of that we're going to kind of discuss in this video. But before we go ahead and get started with today's video, if you guys are new to our channel, we do a lot of tech news reviews and giveaways, so make sure that like and subscribe. But also, if you guys are looking to upgrade to a newer phone at a discounted price, make sure you guys check out the links in the description section. So let's talk about some of the top features of iOS 15. As you know, iOS 15 was released with the release of iPhone 13. Some of the big features come in are things like focus mode. So if you open up in your notification, you'll notice with focus mode you have ability to change up from personal, work, or sleep, or do not disturb, where in the past it would just be do not disturb. That allows you to sort of tweak your phone's notification to be able to get notification custom tailored towards your focus of the day. The next, probably the big updates, it's going to be around your being able to actually now send links from FaceTime. So if in the past FaceTime was a feature for only iPhone user, but Apple has made quite a big of a change, is that now you can actually send a link like you would for any other web chat to even an Android or someone on their computer, and they're able to now actually join the same FaceTime. So now literally you can say, let's FaceTime to anyone, whether they have iPhone, whether they don't have a phone, they'll be able to join the FaceTime and have that. Along with that is the spatial audio that's going to be part of the FaceTime. So when someone speaks, it's just going to light up there and make it seem more visible so you know who is speaking. Other updates come around the actual pieces around Safari as well. So if you use Safari in the past, there's an update now to have Safari in offline mode, where it's able to do smarter searches as well. Along with that are going to be updates to actually the notifications on the iPhone 6s. So now if you take a look at the notification, there's a redesign of the notifications overall. So as you can see, it's more cleaner. There's updates to the actual UI. So if you go into settings here, you notice there's an update to the actual UI of the software, where you see more rounded design of the actual UI. There's also updates to some of the privacy settings, which we'll discuss in later videos as well. And of course, there's more updates around the icons. As you can see here, we are on the Maps app. There's updates to there. Also, updates to the Weather app is another one you'll probably notice here. As you hit continue here, as you'll see, there's more features that weren't available, such as just update to the UI and things that you haven't seen here. And that's going to be a game changer, especially around things like this, where you see the heat temperature maps as well for different states and such. So much more going on with it. And so how well has it been when you updated to iOS 15? Well, a couple things here. If you're updating to iOS 15, do know it could take somewhere between half an hour to 45 minutes depending on your Wi-Fi connection. One other update that's major to this iOS 15 is that if you wanted to stay on iOS 14, you can. If you had, let's say, iOS 14.7 and the latest one is 14.8, you can actually upgraded to that minor version of iOS 14. You don't necessarily have to jump to iOS 15. And with any software update, because it's a .0 update, there's going to be lots of problems that are going to be encountered, and you might want to hold off on updating it. We noticed a couple things here going on with it, is that there's some features that aren't quite available on the iPhone 6s. What are those features? Well, there's a feature for live text that's not available. The weather animation on the actual maps here or the weather apps actually is not available. So some of the animations are missing. As you can see here, when you start to zoom out, it starts to slow down a little bit because those animations do require time. So you're going to experience sort of that slowness on the phone. Face emojis aren't going to be available. 3D maps, which again another feature, won't be available. Unfortunately, although you can send the link for the FaceTime, when it comes to spatial audio and portrait mode on the FaceTime won't be available on the 6S. It will be available on the later generation, but not the 6S as well. As we mentioned, Siri offline won't actually be available on the 6S itself, and other things that it won't be available are the updates to wallet keys to unlock your iPhone. So there's quite a few features missing from the 6S, and that's because the hardware on the actual phone just doesn't have the ability to support that, and it's just limited in terms of those features. But overall, we haven't really experienced any issues with the battery life of the phone. The battery has been so far good on it. We know some people mentioned that they're having issues with their battery. So let's say your battery is an older battery, or maybe it needs service, you might want to get a service. You know, that's going to be a feature that it's something will come up, but it's something that we haven't noticed. So what's our recommendation if you're thinking of upgrading to iOS 15? Well, if you can, we would probably recommend, if you don't really mind iOS 14 and it's not really required, you might just want to hold off on to it, because as you know here, although there are some good features, it doesn't seem like there are a lot of great features that can justify upgrading to iOS 15 yet, because it is still in the early phases. And a phone like the 6S, because it's almost a 6-year phone, upgrading to iOS 15, sometimes it's a little skeptical in terms of upgrading to it unless there are security updates. So when it comes to security updates, so it's something you have to follow. Some of the major security updates that recently Apple has started to patch up might require you to be on the latest version, which is going to be on iOS 15, and that time there is really no choice but to upgrade it. But overall, in this experience of iOS 15 on it, for our purposes, when we did it on this phone, which is our test phone, we haven't noticed anything significantly bad, as we'll say. But again, experiences vary depending on your phone's life. This phone, for example, we have around it, used it for couple months, and so it won't notice much different. But if you had an older phone, you could experience something else that we haven't experienced. So if you have upgraded to iOS 15, want you guys to put a comment in the comment section with your experience of how iOS 15 has been on your iPhone 6s, just so we can give you guys and everyone else a fair chance at being able to understand any issues and some things that Apple probably will look into fixing. So thanks for watching, guys. See you guys next time.